morning. I'm going to call the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners of July 23rd to order. Roll call, please.
Fretham.
Here.
McGuire.
Here.
Moran.
Here.
Ortega.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Here.
Zhang.
Here.
And Martinson.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the agenda of July 23rd presented for approval. Is there a motion? Oops, sorry, hold on a second. We're going to back up. I'm moving so quickly. I'm going to turn to Commissioner Fretham for our land acknowledgement.
Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will, some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life, and some have lived on this land since time immemorial. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We are standing on the ancestral lands of the Dakota people. We want to acknowledge the Ojibwe, the Ho-Chunk, and the other nations of people who also called this place home. We pay respects to their elders past and present. Please take a moment to consider the treaties made by the tribal nations that entitle non-Native people to live and work on traditional Native lands. Consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths at any and all public events.
Thank you, Commissioner Fretham. Now I'll entertain a motion for the agenda of July 23rd.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Fretham.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Moran.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Zhang.
Aye.
And Martinson.
Aye. We have the minutes from July 9th, 2024 presented for approval. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Fretham.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Moran.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Zhang.
Aye.
And Martinson.
Aye. Now we have a proclamation to recognize our pretrial probation and parole supervision week, and Commissioner McGuire will present the proclamation. If you're here for this, feel free to join Commissioner McGuire at the dais.
Yes, please join me if you're here for the proclamation. If you're here with pretrial probation and parole. Wonderful. We have a good crew, so let's make a couple of different lines here. And then you can fill in your line.
I saw you all out in the hallway when I came in. I was wondering why there are so many people dressed up today at the board meeting. So you have set the bar high.
You want to get everybody up here. Maybe you do a couple of rows.
All right. All right. We'll have to get closer because we'll do a picture at the end. So.
This is so exciting.
Awesome.
Madam Chair, members of the board, it is really my honor and privilege to have these amazing people behind me here as I present this proclamation to the Community Corrections Department in recognition of National Pretrial Probation and Parole Week. And I'm glad that you're all joining me here. Ramsey County stands out as a leader in community corrections, and I am proud of the ongoing reforms that benefit our clients. By eliminating fees and providing free telephone calls for residents of the correctional facility, this department truly embodies the residents first philosophy. Probation officers serve not only within the community, but also at the Ramsey County Correctional Facility and the Juvenile Detention Center, helping residents prepare for their return to society. Our staff use collaborative case planning and, for youth, family-engaged case planning to outline the supports and services needed for successful reintegration and to help clients remain law-abiding. Ramsey County is at the forefront of case planning in the state, already implementing practices that the Department of Corrections will soon require statewide, and I'm not surprised that we're leading in this area I will say that when I was in the legislature, I carried the Community Corrections Act legislation, and Ramsey County was always so at the forefront of this great work, which is about prevention, early intervention, and really helping our residents through this system. And I've always said many times at this board meeting that the conferences that Community Corrections is a part of and puts on are some of the best in the state, because they really do focus on prevention, early intervention. How do we be the best department that we can be? And I'm just so appreciative of all the work that you all do. And with that, it's my honor to, on the behalf of the board, present this proclamation. Whereas Ramsey County employs more than 450 community corrections professionals who are dedicated to strengthening individual and community safety and well-being through innovative interventions and programming that promotes personal change and accountability. And whereas since 1999, the American Probation and Parole Association has designated 1 week in July as Pretrial Probation and Parole Supervision Week to honor those who serve as community probation officers, assistant probation officers, corrections program workers, and support staff, and work to improve outcomes for justice-involved individuals and the public safety for communities. And whereas probation officers and community corrections staff at all levels perform duties necessary to protect the community, promote positive behavioral change, increase healthy development, hold probationers accountable, and to provide support to crime victims by helping them understand and exercise their rights. And whereas probation officers in Ramsey County provide critical services and interventions, including investigations for the district courts, community monitoring, intensive supervision, risk and needs assessments, cognitive behavioral programs, employment referrals, mental health counseling, residential and correctional programming, reentry services, and an array of other services, and wow. And whereas Ramsey County Community Corrections staff continue to form meaningful partnerships with community with the goal of promoting race and health equity for clients and advocating for more community and less confinement. And whereas Ramsey County Community Corrections staff work collaboratively with system stakeholders to create opportunities for all corrections professionals to work together and break down walls, bring residents together to learn, talk, work, and find solutions to the challenges in the community. And whereas community corrections professionals are committed to putting well-being and community at the center of justice system transformation, and whereas Ramsey County Community Corrections professionals strive to be a true force for positive change in the community, restore trust, and create hope. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners declares July 21st through 27th, 2024 as pre-trial probation and parole supervision week in Ramsey County. Congratulations.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah.
I'm Jamar Dickens, and I'm accepting this proclamation on behalf of my colleagues in the Community Corrections Department. I was recently promoted to a supervisory position, and prior to that, I worked as a probation officer for Ramsey County for nearly 12 years, working with both adult and juvenile clients. I'd like to thank the board for their support and our community corrections staff for the work that they do to reduce recidivism to keep our communities safe. Our probation officers supervise more than 10,000 community members. This work is challenging. Every day we ask our staff to do the impossible, and every day they show up. They work with entire families, not just the probationer, helping to identify social, employment, education, and food supports, things we know people need to keep them from reoffending. Our clients often have a history of trauma, addiction, and mental illness. Our staff are asked not only to ensure their clients are meeting the terms of their probation, but also to help connect them to resources to stabilize their lives. The department and the county have adopted a more community, less confinement approach. This approach means that persons who in the past may have been incarcerated are now supervised in the community, leading to larger and more challenging caseloads for our staff. It is difficult work, and they are rising to the occasion. Thank you for recognizing our staff and this department. I know that we will continue to answer the call to public service, improving lives and community safety.
Awesome. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jamar. Thank you. Good morning, Corey.
Hello, I'm Corey Hazelton, Assistant Division Director. Usually, I'm in a temporary role as Deputy Director of Field Services for the summer. So thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to the board for not only this event, but consistently supporting corrections throughout the years. When we appear in front of this board for these types of events, a lot of the times we talk about how challenging this work is, and I don't want to go to, Jamar already talked a little bit about that, but I want to talk a little bit about some of the reasons why. That certainly has not changed. I would even argue the jobs are more demanding these days. Ramsey County has been on the forefront of many criminal justice reforms, transformational work, and it's been recognized nationally for these efforts. Reforms such as shorter probation sentences, early discharges, fee reductions, drug testing reform, community alternatives to incarceration. We truly believe these reforms will lead to healthier communities. However, there's a flip side to those reforms. There are more high-risk clients being put on probation in the community. High-risk clients are being released from the DOC earlier, and a lot of that is going to be put on our agents. Our agents are being asked to supervise higher-risk, higher-need populations, and at the same time asking them to supervise the clients with limited resources and less reliance on incarceration as the main response to an intervention. Another demanding task is we're asking agents to accomplish a near impossible balance. We want them to acknowledge and confront negative behavior, change negative behavior, and be aware of exactly when this behavior could lead to a public safety risk. There's criticism when a decision leads to incarceration. There can be criticism when it doesn't lead to incarceration. The constant internal and external scrutiny, second guessing, and consistent doubting of our own work leads to emotional stress and takes a toll on the individuals who work in this field. Individuals know this career may negatively affect their lives and statistically lead to shorter lives. Yet they still come out here every day and give it their best effort because they know the work is important and the work matters. So this week is about recognizing and appreciating those that take on the demanding task and try to achieve that difficult balance. There are not many jobs where one of the main goals is to be successful enough where you're not needed anymore. Unfortunately, we haven't met that goal. We are very much needed now more than ever. So thank you to the board for this acknowledgement. Thank you to the probation, parole, and pretrial agents who go out every day and make this community proud. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. You know, as we listen to the list of all the things that you do, it certainly means that you should have more than a week of recognition. Commissioner Moran.
I just want to first say congratulations. Congratulations and thank you for the work that you do. That is not easy. We hear you. I hear you. Right? There's many challenges that you face to ensure that those that you have to support and work with to re-enter the community and stabilize their lives and try to create success so that they don't reoffend is an awesome work, but hard and stressful work. And so I hear that, you know, I don't know if we could, what the resources would look like for that, right? And how much money it would take to just make that better. But I'm hoping that you will be open to sharing with us how we can help make your work and your lives better, right? Because you are under stress. You know, you have to deal with the trauma. And so we hear that, I hear that we want to definitely be an advocate and support for the work that you do because we want safe communities, right? That is what we want. and we know that it's not an easy task. So help us help you with what that means. And sometimes that may be, I don't know what that can be, if it's just to recognize you here, or just to find ways to alleviate some of the stress. But we celebrate you today in the work that you do every single day. And sometimes that could be a 24/7 job.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Reinhardt.
Thank you. And actually, I remember I've been in this position for almost 28 years. And when I started, the Community Corrections Director pointed out that they had, just a few years before that, had like 10 mandates. And within a very short period of time, and I don't even, it's kind of hard to believe what it will be today, but I know it had gone up to over 100 within a few years, the mandates from the state, generally. Some from the federal, but corrections is really a state thing. And so one of the things that I think we can do and should do is listen to what you have to say, obviously, but what does it mean as far as reform at the state? Because what we do is mandated. How we do it is what we have worked with you on to make sure that we have things that are make it more equitable, make it more safe, helping people, helping families, and that's what you have to do. But I suspect, I know that there are ways that we can really get the attention of the state legislature, because that's where the funding comes from. And to make sure that they understand that each mandate, when you were listing off the things that have changed, and I thought, wow, I wonder if everybody behind you realized that that many changes had taken place in a relatively short period of time, because as you make one change, then you just get used to that, and then there's another, and there's another, and there's another. And so it adds up, and we need to be more assertive at the state level, because that's where all the formulas, all the different things that happen, we may be the leader in making some of those things happen, but ultimately, and how we implement them, but ultimately, we need to make sure we get their attention. And you can help us with that, because you know it day to day. We hear about it maybe once a year, and we hear about it more than that, obviously. But we can get this done. Yeah. And so we are going to need to have, we're going to need your advice, your support, and the legislature obviously is over for this year, but we've got another year coming up, and we can make a difference, I think.
Excellent. Thank you. I think what I hope you hear is this board's got your back. When we are second guessing, when there's questions, that we have asked you to take high risk because we know the reward is high for our community, and we've got your back, and we'll stand by you as you make those decisions and hard choices. And hopefully that gives some support that from the top to the bottom, we are with you and standing with you and are grateful for you. And we know that it's hard, and that it's and that your lives are in danger on a daily basis, and we recognize that, and we want to make sure that you know that we see that too. So thank you and congratulations as we celebrate your work this week, but every day in Ramsey County. Let's do a photo. All right, so we're gonna try to squeeze as close together. If you are behind a pole, we won't see you. So we might have to do another row. Sneak in there. There you go.
You want to put the microphones down? Oh, okay.
Yes, what's that? Okay, good.
Okay, do you want people to introduce themselves?
Oh, sure. And then as you're exiting, if you would, just tell me your name and which part of the system you work in, and then you can go to your seat, sir. Thank you. Just, there you go. Yes, thank you.
Jamar Dickens, supervisor in the juvenile division, juvenile probation.
Excellent, thanks.
Valeria Jerusha, interim deputy director of administrative services.
Good morning, Andrea Messenger. I'm the Assistant Deputy Director for Juvenile and Field Services for Probation.
Excellent.
Deborah Briggs, 35 years, ready to retire.
Wow. Well earned, too.
Jason Marinas, Adult Probation Supervisor. Thank you.
Abigail Argenbright. I'm a pretrial case manager and team lead with Justice Point Conditional Release in Ramsey County.
Excellent.
Emma McGarthwaite. I'm a pretrial case manager with Justice Point.
Excellent.
Jennifer Lovick, Assistant Director for Pretrial Services with Justice Point.
Nikki Light, I'm the Administrator of Justice Point.
Tony Chang, Juvenile Probation.
Tequila Lee, Juvenile Probation.
Cecilia Mo, Adult Probation.
Hi, I'm Justin Featherstone. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of the Juvenile Detention Center.
Good morning, Jamie Brish, the Superintendent of the JDC.
Good morning, Liz Reitz, Deputy Director of Facilities.
Good morning, Terry Rose Hefta, Adult Probation at the 800 office.
Commissioners, hi, Beth Teets. I am an Assistant Acting Director in the Adult Division right now. Thanks.
Hey, Commissioners, Corey Grewing, Planning Manager and Administration.
Janice Moore, Probation Officer in Ramsey County Juvenile Probation.
Michaela Conrad, Juvenile Probation.
Good morning.
Morning.
Tim Vasquez, RCCF Superintendent.
Seth Macy, Adult Probation.
Good morning. Steve Horgan, Assistant Superintendent at RCCF.
Good morning. Ruben Cortez with Juvenile Probation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael Kaler, Director for Pretrial Services for Justice Point.
Excellent. Thank you. It takes a village to do this work, and we appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. All right, next we have an ordinance procedure, and this is the proposed Emergency Management Homeland Security Department ordinance. Waive the second reading and hold the public hearing. Is there a motion? Do we need a motion?
So moved.
Yep. Second. Thank you. Before we open the public hearing, I just asked the county manager again to explain what this is, because the title doesn't necessarily explain. So please, County Manager Burke.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So for clarification for our viewers today, the action that the board is taking today represents no change in the current organizational structure. Emergency Management and Homeland Security is an existing organization within the Safety and Justice Service team. However, as part of an administrative review a couple of years ago, it was identified in our administrative code that the organization was referred to as both a division and as a department. So to clarify that it is a department of the county that requires going through an ordinance procedure under our Home Rule Charter, thank you. Under the Home Rule Charter, my North Star. So that is what we are doing today. The outcome of this is no change in the organizational structure at all. It is clarifying that this is, in fact, a department.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. With that, we are beginning the proposed ordinance for Emergency Management and Homeland Security Department. There's no vote taken for this public hearing today. Ramsey County is a welcoming, accessible, and inclusive organization. The public hearing is a space for Ramsey County Board of Commissioners to hear from many different points of view. While providing public testimony, we ask that speakers be respectful and refrain from using language that may be harmful to others. Your testimony will become part of the public record for today's public hearing. The public hearing on the proposed ordinance for Emergency Management and Homeland Security Department is now open. I want to remind people that we are only discussing the public hearing on the proposed ordinance for Emergency Management and Homeland Security Department. The purpose of the meeting is to allow the public the opportunity to comment on the proposed ordinance for Emergency Management and Homeland Security Department. For those who are here to speak at the public hearing in person or via Zoom, when you're called to speak, please state your name and city of residence before making your comment. You'll have a limit of 3 minutes to give your testimony.
So, Madam Chair, between last week and this week, I had 4 signups, and so I'm not quite sure where they are. So I'm going to just read their names to see if they're in the room. They're not on Zoom, so
okay.
I'll go down with the list I have first. Gladius Carrasquillo.
Gladius, are you Gladius?
No, I believe my name is there as well, Brahim.
Oh, okay, we have to go in order. So Gladius first?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gladius, and then I had Darian, and then I had Brahim, and then I had Callie.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 that had registered.
And again, this is only relevant to the testimony on the public hearing for the proposed ordinance for emergency management and Homeland Security Department. Gladius, please state your name and your city of residence. Your time has begun.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Gladys Carrasquillo.
Good afternoon, my name is Gladys Carrasquillo.
Tengo 19 años trabajando de limpieza en el centro de San Pablo
I have 19 years working in downtown St. Paul
y casi 10 años limpiando edificios del condado de Ramsey.
and 10 years working for the Ramsey County cleaning.
Considero todos mis compañeros como mi segunda familia
I consider my colleagues like a second family
porque ellos llevan también la misma cantidad de años o más trabajando para Ramsey County.
because so many of them have so many years working for Ramsey County.
Tengo 66 años de edad
I'm 66 years old
y me preocupa más la posibilidad de perder mi trabajo a esta edad.
and what makes me most nervous is the possibility of losing my job at this age in my life
Porque el costo de los biles es muy caro, la renta es muy cara.
because the cost of rent is high, bills are high.
Necesito mi plan de aseguranza médica para las medicinas que yo tomo diariamente.
And I need my health insurance to pay for my medicine that I take daily.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you because this has to be in relevance to this ordinance only. We cannot take testimony on other topics. Please get to the point about the proposed ordinance that's on the gamut, or we will not take additional testimony.
Okay. ¿Dónde me quedé? Necesito. Sin aseguranza médica del sindicato, yo no tengo ninguna idea cómo puedo pagar los costos enormes de visitar al doctor y los exámenes médicos. Tendré que solicitar al welfare.
And without union health care, I don't know how I'm going to be able to pay the cost of my bills, and I'm going to be forced to go on welfare.
It has to be relevant to the Homeland Security organization. We will not take testimony on any other topic.
Unless you're here. Yeah.
We do have comments that are posted.
So most of our...
I'm sorry, sir. This is an official hearing, public testimony hearing. It has to be relevant. And you have to wait your turn until you're called. You have made your point, we see your signs, but if this is not relevant to this proposed ordinance, we are not taking testimony at this time.
That's what I'm about to speak to. So I want to be clear, our testimony is not relevant to the topic that you mentioned. So all three of us, all three speakers wanted to speak about the same thing.
Yes.
And these are workers for Ramsey County
This is
losing their
not the
job.
time, sir. I need to stop you. This is not the time. I'm in an open public hearing right now. We need to follow these procedures. I'm going to ask you to take your seats if you're not here to talk about this proposed ordinance.
No, we're not here to talk about it.
Okay, thank you. Then I'll ask you to take your seats.
But just to be clear, in 1 week, people are losing their jobs,
We need
and there
you to
is no
take
other
your
public
seats.
hearing between them now.
We need you to take your seats. This is not the time. We do have submitted comments relative to this topic that we can share those comments. But again, this is specifically for the proposed ordinance for emergency management and Homeland Security Department.
We'll be back.
We could just see if someone...
Yep. Is there anyone here to speak regarding the proposed ordinance for Emergency Management and Homeland Security Department who has not yet spoken?
Do the right thing.
Is there anyone here to speak on the proposed ordinance for Emergency Management and Homeland Security Department who has not yet spoken? One last time, is anyone here to speak regarding the proposed ordinance for Emergency Management and Homeland Security? Then I declare the public hearing is now closed.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
I
Commissioner
believe that we
Reinhardt.
still had to vote on
Oh, yes.
the
Yep.
waiving the second reading.
Oh, yes, thank you. With no further discussion, we'll take a vote. Roll call, please.
Bretham.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Moran.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Jean.
Aye.
And Martinson.
Aye. Next, I'll turn to Commissioner Fretham for administrative items.
Thank you. There are a lot of administrative items. Like to move item 5, agreement with AECom for additional design services for the park at River's Edge. Move item 6, grant award from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for the continuum of...
Okay, we're going to pull item 6.
Feel free to pull after I say the number.
Okay.
Move item 7, amendments to the project budget and financing plan for the Battle Creek Regional Park's Waterworks facility renovation. Item number 8, grant agreement with the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources for Federal Recreation Trail Program 2024 equipment grant. Item number 9, grant agreement with the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources for Federal Recreational Trail Program 2024 grant award for trail extension. Item number 10, lease agreement with Maplewood Partners LLC for temporary service center space. Item number 11, agreement with Daring Pearson Group LLC for Maplewood Mall Service Center remodel project. Item number 12, appointments to the Workforce Innovation Board of Ramsey County. Item 13, property tax abatements. Item 14, local option disaster tax abatements. Item 15, personnel complement increase in the Public Health Department through the Response Sustainability Grant. Item 16, personnel complement increase in the Public Health Department through the Foundational Public Health Responsibilities Grant. Item 17, amendment to the agreement with Minnesota Department of Public Safety for therapeutic youth treatment homes and violence prevention wraparound service. Item 18, salary schedule and grade allocation for Deputy Director Information Services Unclassified Service.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for items number 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Can we just pull 17 so I can just hear
Okay.
what that is?
Yep. Item 13, 14, 15, 16, and 18. And we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those items? All right, roll call, please.
Bretham.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Moran.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Jean.
Aye.
And Martinson.
Aye. All right, we'll return to item number 6, grant award for the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for the Continuum of Care Planning Grant. Motion.
Yeah. So move.
Second. All right, Commissioner Zhang.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me to pull this item. I just wanted to take this opportunity to really lift up this work about us as the county being a lead in the continuum of care. This is a planning grant, and I also just wanted to lift this up and be responsive to several of my constituents who have reached out that there are homeless encampments on the Bruce Bento Trail, and many of whom are who identify as Hmong, and also concerns about children there too. So a lot of that has been raised to my office. I have been working with our department about it too, as well as the coordination of the services. So I just wanted to use this time and opportunity to lift up that work, but also to hear a little bit more about like the planning work that needs to be done as well too, as we are adding more staff to this work.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Zhang. Director Lattimore, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning, Commissioners, Madam Chair, County Manager Berg. Commissioner Zhang, that is exactly what we are hoping to do as we build and expand our opportunities to serve more. As most of you already are aware, the Housing Stability Department serves as the backbone agency to our continuum of care. And as we look at ways to expand services, this is one of those that we were requesting from our board, that as we get those funds, we find additional ways to add more services to do the work that we have gaps in our services. For the Bruce Vento encampment that you mentioned, it is front and center of our understanding of what's going on there. As a matter of fact, we meet weekly with the City of St. Paul to offer, what type of services we need, and we just met yesterday in addition. But these are the opportunities that we seek to have more resources there available as our housing prices continue in the city of St. Paul and Ramsey County throughout. We're hoping to partner, as we mentioned earlier, I think in our email exchange, that we're looking to bring public health as well, and we have outreach teams that are out there. But this is really for us to gather those services, and many of the ones that are out there now, we learned that all but 10 have been assessed. We're assessing those through our partnership with the City of St. Paul and with our planning team and with our operations team that's currently housed at the SPOC, St. Paul Opportunity Center.
Excellent. Any other questions for Director Latimer? Yeah. Commissioner Zhang.
Yeah, thank you, Director Latimer. I really appreciate that. I think one of the things I also heard in our communications is also about just the gaps in services where we don't have the housing type that can keep families together, and also programs that don't fit, or recognize families, right, of where there are a few adults together, or adults and kids who aren't biological, but then they want to remain together. Will that work be incorporated in there to identify those gaps?
Madam
to
Chair.
further identify?
Commissioner Zhang, as we have understood, I think when we look back during our time during COVID, there were a healthy resource of dollars that came, and we were able to do really specific housing options and shelter options for those that were untraditional families that we recognize in our daily lives, but trying to do more of trying to recognize what people see, our citizens see as family. Currently, right now, because the resources don't allow us to have an expansion of those services, it doesn't allow for some families that we don't, we recognize as families because they recognize themselves as family. But when individuals who have been offered, and many of those in this encampment have been offered services, they have not taken the options because it splits individuals up. And those who recognize it's just their cohort, so to speak. And so what we're struggling with now is to find resources within Ramsey County that would allow a group of individuals to move in together. And that's where some of the gaps exist. And so in our work of trying to work with landlords and trying to bring those to the table to say, what more can we offer? How can we serve non-traditional families that, many of us recognize? And I think that's where we have to be more open with, trying to be creative around how do we get those individuals recognized. The second part of that is as they are recognized, many of them who have services for landlords who may allow them to come inside, they only are allowed for the vouchers that they have been approved for. And because the vouchers does not approve for 1, 2, 3 separate individuals, it doesn't recognize the multi-generational families that are together and want to remain together. That's where some of our gaps exist, and that's the work that's still to be done. But more so, it's really our advocacy around how we get more resources to the table so we have those individuals that would be willing to work with us for those who are returning from homeless. And that's where we really have a struggle right now, I think, when it comes to the work that needs to be done and how we need to start recognizing more of non-traditional families. And I think that's where some of our services and some of these are obviously rules and ordinances and other things that exist, all of the language around how things have to be done. It's really where we got to do more work to recognize those non-traditional families. And I think that's where we've seen some gaps in our, in our work.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Latimer. Yes, Commissioner Moran.
So as you talk about the barriers are in place for non-traditional families and multi-generational families, where do you see the gaps? Is those state regulations, federal regulation, counties? What do you see as a possible solution to creating, a will to invest, to do this a little bit differently?
Thank you.
Yes.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Moran, I think where we look, so first, a great question. I think that it's a multitude of things that is factoring in that. Some of the regulations around how we are able to get folks, approved for certain vouchers. And then there's really the resources. And I think the board has done a tremendous job of allocating those resources so we can build affordable housing and infrastructure. However, when our funds, our American Rescue Plan Act dollars ended, that's where we, as Ramsey County, who was running many of the emergency shelters, were able to do some of those non-traditional things. However, our providers that are out there that we work with, their programs really they're set up structurally so they can make all the necessary wraparound services related to a specific area of service. So for instance, if there's, women and children, then they're looking at daycare services, or they're looking at school services and other things. It doesn't allow really for our singles to come in and mix well with those populations. So I think it's a multitude of things that has to happen, and one answer is really doesn't get us to where we need to be. But it really makes, the work for us is really to find landlords and to find space that is offered for individuals and to get those services and get people approved for those services, so when they do move in, it's just not that it's a landlord doing, things for charity, but those landlords want to be paid, and we want to make sure that there's resources there to continue having these opportunities for individuals. Another thing that we met when we looked at our landlords and met with them, we had about over 70 landlords that met with us. One of the things that they've been critical about is that in order to open up services, they want to make sure that they're not stuck with the individual if things go bad. And I think what they're looking for is having a case management team that they can work with in the event that person A that's in unit, 1 is not working out, that they're not stuck in a situation. And I think that's where they're hoping to have some services that can help them as landlords so they can take that reasonable risk on those individuals being inside, their property. So.
So yes, I will agree with that, and I think as we look at our partners and beyond sheltering people, we're looking at stable housing, right? And I do think a part of that is working with landlords. There are some, I know a couple of nonprofit organizations who are specifically working with landlords, because often when the landlord doesn't trust that individual because of their instability, they work with the organization who is working with the family, right? And because of those organizations who are working with these families, they are renting to larger non-traditional families, and they're taking that risk because of the organization, not so much of the family. And so I think if we can expand on those providers that we're working with to help support them and recognize them, I think it may be helpful for the families that we're talking about, because families do want to be together. They don't want to be split, and I really pride ourselves on, looking at the prevention and the intervention and the whole family approach. And so I would share a couple of organizations with you that's doing that type of work.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Director Latimer. Go ahead. Yep.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Moran, one thing I'll add to it is that, I think one of the bigger pictures is that what we've seen lately is that when we do have providers, there's other things that we have to also get ahead of and do our work. And that's really the community engagement around the NIMBY effect that we can certainly approach. So it's one thing to have providers who would say they'd be willing. It's another thing to make sure that that area is zoned for various opportunities for individuals to come into neighborhoods. And that's really what's kind of also putting us really in a box around, you asked what were all of the different components that, really challenge us. And I think that's one of the things that we can certainly, work and partnership with maybe the city council and others to talk about where those zones allow us to move into. And that's really some of the things we're also working on. So as we do the work on the front end, there are still things on the back end, I think, that we should be, working more so on policy and other things that in partnership with our cities around where those ordinances and where those zoning areas could be. I think that's another part.
Yes, thank you, Director Lattimore. And I'll just lift up this, Director Lattimore and his whole team is small but mighty, and they do a great job at listening to community and are flexible and creative uses of funds and resources. And the continuum of care in Heading Home Ramsey is really a strong coalition of providers, the strongest continuum of care in the state of Minnesota, hands down, where they're really thinking about new ideas and working together about Familiar Families program, Familiar Faces program, and getting creative. Ultimately, we need way more resources than we've got, and we need the state to step up as a partner, the federal government to step up as a partner and understand that we can solve this problem if we are allowed to do our work differently. And we're working with the city council and the mayor in St. Paul to change zoning code. There's a lot of stuff that says in the zoning that shelters can only be downtown St. Paul, and it's a challenge. It can be in our religious institution, but at a bed capacity of only 25 beds, which isn't effective if you're an organization trying to run a shelter. For staffing of only 25, we'd like that to expand to up to 100 beds to meet this need. And so we're working on it, and the continuum of care and Director Lattimore and his team are doing yeoman's work, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, let's move to a vote. Roll call, please.
Fretham.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Moran.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Jean.
Aye.
And Martinson.
Aye. Next, we have the amendment to the agreement with Minnesota Department of Public Safety for therapeutic youth treatment homes and violence prevention wraparound services. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Commissioner Moran.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to hear a little bit more about the amendment that we're putting forth around the therapeutic youth treatment homes.
Excellent, great. And we've got staff coming. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair, Commissioners, County Manager. I'm Amy Peterson. I'm the project manager that's supporting these two grants. The amendment we're doing today is because the initial grant agreement was for up to 2025. In the legislative session of 2024, we were able to pass legislation to extend that to 2026. So we're just doing that amendment to extend to June 30th, 2026 to be able to allocate the funds for the youth treatment home.
So what did Madam Chair, so what did that look like? What's that process like? So you can just amend the contract without going back to the legislature, or?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioner Moran. So the legislation passed. We worked with our DPS grant manager to understand what they needed. They have initiated this amendment and sent us the attachment that is the amendment that we need to then sign. It's just that timeline extension at this point. So we'll go through this piece. We'll get it all signed off on our side, send it back to the state, and they'll sign and it'll be executed for that timeline extension.
Thank you. Okay. It's pretty aggressive, right? So.
What's that?
I say it was a pretty aggressive timeline. So.
It was a very aggressive timeline. So we're very appreciative of the government relations team and their support to make sure we have the time to do the work as well as we can.
Excellent, thank you. Any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Fretham.
Thank you.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Moran.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Jean.
Aye.
And Martinson.
Aye.
And Madam Chair?
Yes.
I know that she called out our intergovernmental relations staff,
Yes.
but I would like to raise them up again.
Yes.
Because even something that's relatively small in the big picture makes a difference in people's lives. And that was, and they had to work hard to get that done.
That's right.
To draw the attention to it. So,
yes.
Again, good work.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Reinhardt. Next, we've got a series of policy items. We'll move quickly through these. The first is the election of chair for the remainder of 2024. This will go into effect on August 2nd. So I've got a couple weeks left, but we want to get this done before the next board meeting, as this is the last board meeting. With that, is there a nomination?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to nominate Commissioner Reinhardt.
Excellent.
Second.
Excellent. Any other nominations for chair? All right, with that, roll call.
Freda,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Ortega,
Aye.
Reinhardt,
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
and Martinson.
Aye. Congratulations, Commissioner Reinhardt. Bittersweet and really great that you'll finish out your term as chair. Next is the election of vice chair for the remainder of 2024.
Madam Chair,
yeah.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Ortega.
Excellent.
Second.
Excellent. He's got that look in his face like, oh, great. Any other nominations for vice chair? We're not asking if you're accepting. With that, roll call, please.
Freda,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Ortega,
Aye.
Reinhardt, Jean,
Aye.
and Martinson.
Hi. Congratulations, Commissioner Ortega. Next is the removal of appointments to the Ramsey County Housing and Redevelopment Authority for 2024. This just removes me officially.
So moved.
Excellent.
Second.
With that, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Freda,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Ortega,
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
I'm sorry, I skipped Reinhardt,
Aye.
and Martinson.
Aye. And then removal of appointments to the Ramsey County Regional Rail Authority. Again,
moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, roll call.
Freda,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Ortega,
Aye.
Reinhardt,
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
and Martinson.
Aye. We have an amendment of appointments to standing committees for 2024.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Freda,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Ortega,
Aye.
Reinhardt,
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
and Martinson.
Aye. And then we have our amendment of appointments to outside board for 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Yes, Commissioner
Madam
McGuire.
Chair, I'm sorry I didn't catch this earlier. It's just one little small change that I think we can just do here.
Okay.
Because on the outside board of committees to the NACO board, I'm now past president.
That's right. So we'll just
So we'll
update
just
that.
add past to that, and then that'll be good for,
forever.
for as long as we can.
And congratulations,
Yes,
by the
exactly.
way.
Thank you for that.
Excellent.
And now, yeah, it just happened last week, so
Yes.
it's very recent.
Yes,
Thank
got
you.
it. Thank you for
Yes.
that. We will just amend that. Excellent. Roll call, please.
Freda,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Ortega,
Aye.
Reinhardt,
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
and Martinson.
Aye. Hey, I feel less stress already. Thanks, everyone. The load just got lighter. Next, County Connections. County Manager Berg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to start by extending my sincere gratitude to staff across the county who came together to respond to the recent global computer outage that impacted many of our county computers and systems, and we're seeing in the news that businesses are still struggling to recover. I want to give a particular shout out to our Homeland Security Emergency Manager, Judd Freed, our Chief Information Officer, Chetan Ganatra, and their teams, everybody who got up in the middle of the night and started working to resolve the issues, as well as our communications team, our human resources team, and staff across the organization who came together to figure out how to make it work on Friday and to get the work done, focusing on the people we serve. So it was a tremendous team effort, and I just want to laud everybody who was part of it. Secondly, I'd like to invite Deputy County Manager Alex Kutza to come up to do a new staff announcement. Celebrate today.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, lucky me. I've been on this job for like 2 weeks, and look who I get to introduce. Director Sophia Thompson makes me look great, so it wasn't my doing, but very excited about it. So today I am honored to introduce Sophia Thompson as the new Director of Ramsey County Social Services. Director Thompson first joined Ramsey County Social Services Department in 2008 as a senior child protection worker after completing her internship as a Title IV Scholar. She went on to supervise a child protection unit in 2015 and became an adult support manager in 2020. She served as a deputy director overseeing the department's mental health division since May 2021, prior to her current appointment. Director Thompson received her master's degree in social work from the University of Minnesota. Go Gophers. And I want to highlight a few of Director Thompson's notable accomplishments while at Ramsey County. She led child protection staff in a unified approach to assessing families using the preferred comprehensive family assessment model during that time. She was one of the primary trainers for all Ramsey County child protection workers and provided weekly group supervision to ensure consistent quality assessment and reduce turnover among staff. She completed the Infant and Early Childhood Mental Health Certification Program. She expanded the embedded social work programs to include Roseville and Maplewood police departments, and most recently embedded social workers into the Emergency Communications Center with the Appropriate Response Initiative. Director Thompson is also a participant in Leadership St. Paul 2024 Best Class Ever, where leaders from private, public, and nonprofit sectors of the community raise awareness of the needs and challenges that affect the St. Paul East Metro region and enhance individual leadership skills with a focus on community stewardship. And soon we will hear about the expansion of mental health urgent care and to serve adolescents. You may also recall that recently in May, Director Thompson was acknowledged for being the recipient of the National Association of Social Workers Minnesota Chapter Social Worker of the Year. As you can see, Director Thompson's broad, expansive background in all the different areas that she now oversees is going to serve Ramsey County well, both our employees, the entire county, and the residents we serve. So I'm very honored to announce Sophia Thompson. Her appointment started July 1, but this was as soon as we could get here. One last thing I will say, I'm new in this role, and Sophia has been extremely welcoming and helpful. She even took my call over the weekend, and we've now texted and everything. So it's been really great, and I really appreciate it. So congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, Sophia. Director Thompson.
Good morning. I have just a few words that I've prepared for this morning. Thank you, Chair Martinson, Commissioners, and County Manager Berg. It is with great honor and humility that I stand before you today as the Social Services Director. And I do so not alone, but on the shoulders of those who've come before me. Monty Martin, Megan Mose, Womazetta Jones, Ann Berry, Kathy Hadeen, Michelle Basham, and Tina Curry, and many more, all of which have led this department in their own way. But more importantly, I stand on the shoulders of my family, starting with Fielding Combs Sr., who arrived in St. Paul in 1862 as an escaped slave and laid down roots that remain today as one of the co-founders of Pilgrim Baptist Church on Grotto and Central. And my grandmother, Joan, who worked at Webster Magnet for over 26 years. And my mother and father, who made sure that I stay true to my roots and have a strong sense of integrity. I share this because I'm not here just because of my accomplishments alone. Rather, I'm here because I stand and I understand the community we serve, the great things community can accomplish, and the struggles community face. Social services is tasked with providing critical safety net programs to our residents and those passing through our borders. We are asked to ensure that no matter the individual's age, ability, language, or socioeconomic and housing status, that they have what is necessary to be in our vibrant community where all are valued and thrive. I also understand our staff and the passion they have for serving our residents, the daily challenges of meeting the demands of the job when our community members come to us with complex needs, and the intersection beyond department or service team. The challenge of using systems that could be more efficient and more friendly. I also understand the task of being fiscally responsible and managing our resources responsibly. While the demands on the department increase, the needs to be creative increases also. I look forward to working with you to show you how the department will collaborate, innovate, communicate, encourage, and use transparency to grow stronger. Thank you for the opportunity to serve in this role.
Yay. Lucky at Ramsey County to have such amazing talent and depth and breadth of leadership in our midst. Congratulations on this well-deserved advancement in your career. It is good for us. This is just one more example why change is good, because the opportunity of people moving to new jobs and new locations allows space for people like Director Thompson to take the lead and take the helm and spread her wings and soar greatly, which we know that you will do. Congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you.
That's it. All right. We are moving right along. Next will be outside board and committee reports. And I will start with Commissioner Reinhardt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, it has been a couple of weeks, obviously,
Yes.
since we have met. I attended the National Association of Counties Conference, and I know that we all have a lot of things that took place there, but the highlight was celebrating Commissioner McGuire's year, finishing up her year, and still being in, you're very involved as past president, but I think in the auditorium where we were celebrating you, that everyone, I'm going to say it was 100%, said that you were the best president ever.
Yes, that's true. Ever.
I mean, honestly, you didn't just take on the title, and other presidents haven't. I mean, they have done work. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And many of them from Minnesota. But you took it a step further, and that's really what it was about. So it's not idle words. You not only brought forward your initiatives, but you traveled this country to make sure that people understood it and that they had the resources that they needed from NACO, the staff that they needed from NACO to get it done. Mm-hmm. And so, again, I'm not disparaging any other presidents, but to say that you stepped it up, and NACO staff and the people across this country, the county commissioners across this country, noticed it, because it really was something that was said over and over and over again. So that's what my takeaway from NACO is. So I also have been involved in the MELSA executive director search and trying to narrow down the candidates and that whole process. As we know, those processes take some time and effort. And so I spent a full day working with the transition team and the personnel team for MELSA to see if we could narrow down the number of candidates, and we have, so we'll move forward from there. I also attended the 5th meeting of the Pig's Eye Dump Task Force, and they were laying out different options. There were no decisions that were made there, but trying to lay out the different options and what's realistic. And I know that one of the things that has been talked about, and I've said it here before, just digging it up and putting it someplace else isn't realistic. But are there things that we can do to make it safer, to move part or whatever? There are things that are being discussed there. But to take the whole thing and move it someplace else seems a little disingenuous to me as well. I don't know where away is. It's kind of the deal with garbage. And I think that will be it for right now. I will have some more comments to make as we get through the agenda, but that is regarding the outgoing board chair. So I will save that.
Okay.
But I do have my Kleenex here.
Oh,
just want you to know so that I can, if I cry, I'm ready.
All right. Commissioner Moran.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think I did. It has been 2 weeks, and I'm going to start with something a little bit heavy, maybe for some, and then lighten it up in the end. And so I want to start off with the meeting that myself and Mike Chunk and Commissioner Feather office had with the University of Minnesota Community Extension Master Gardening team. including the dean of the Master Gardening Program. I just want to first just thank Commissioner Featham for initiating and leading this process by writing the initial email and asking for a meeting with the University of Minnesota Extension Master Gardening Program. And we was meeting because of this word master that I've said like 3 times that like can, you know, just for me, makes me cringe each and every time I have to say it over and over again. And, you know, it's for me and for us, it was necessary just to have this meeting to discuss with them just words, right? And they kind of like opened up with, do words kind of like matter? And had done a survey around it with members of the gardening team and just those who are volunteering versus those that they're meeting with in the community also. And I won't go too deep into it, but to be clear, yes, words do matter, right? Words do matter. And yes, words can be harmful. And yes, words are harmful. And so a really engaging conversation around that, around the leadership. And, you know, one of the questions that we put forward with them is, why do you believe that people come to volunteer? And they mention words, it's a community. It's a way of engaging. It's a way of getting additional skills, a way of connecting with the ground. And no one said they're there because it's called Master Gardening. So the question was, is it, you know, as we think about this, you know, and the work that we do in Ramsey County and the values that we stand on as a county, that the request is them to look at, you know, a process around renaming this program. And, you know, start with the membership and start with those community partners and see what you can come up with. And yes, nothing is easy to do, right? So we kind of like challenge them to look at this whole process. You know, because we're in a moment in time. And I share with them, there has been some moment in times. And one of those moment in times that look at who we are as a country was like the Me Too moment, right?
Yep.
And so there has been other moments. The whole George Floyd piece allowed us to relook at policing, right? And looking at ourselves and holding ourselves accountable, right? Because we all have to be accountable to something or someone. And so I think that the first meeting, it was, you know, for some very uncomfortable, for all, you know, uncomfortable. I shared with them as this little black girl, lady that you see before me, that grew up on the south side of Chicago, in a community that looks so much like only me. I have had of a whole political and community engagement legacy of being uncomfortable. And we have to find places to get uncomfortable to become comfortable, right? We just have to sit in that and become comfortable through that. So it's one meeting that we had, and I'm hoping to reconnect maybe a few months down and see where they are in this process, because, you know, I think, you know, not just with myself internally, but with our community partners, we want them to align with our values. And so we hope that we can come to some agreement there. All right, so that's that. Some of the other things, I echo everything that we just heard Commissioner Reinhardt talk about with our NACO conference, and, you know, just watching our own lead NACO nationally has been an experience for me, and very, very exciting. And watching you and your leadership and you direct NACO at the national level. It has been awesome to see and watch. I've had an opportunity to, last Friday with myself and probably Commissioner Mai Chung Zong would talk a little bit more about our visit to some of the youth therapeutic homes. And so I've been able to do like 4 different visits from Prior Lake with the Passageway Youth Therapeutic Home there in Prior Lake to looking at a location in Jelani House, Journey of Hope, and Brittany Place. They're all on the east side. But just looking at some of the work that they're doing, and just for people who don't understand what we're trying to do here. There's a request to better understand out-of-home placement options for youth that are currently available that can be addressed for our youth who really don't meet the standards of being incarcerated or being in juvenile detentions, but also that can come back in the community and get the wraparound services that they need that can direct them to be successful, right? And 3 of the homes that was in St. Paul and the one in Prior Lake, these visits provided attendees, along with myself and the county attorney's office and probations and just an array of folks who showed up, the opportunity to meet providers, learn about their programming, the kids they serve, and their approach to meeting the needs of kids in their care. So we had like myself and Commissioner Zone, County Attorney John Troy, Sheriff Fletcher, Office Juvenile Court judges, Deputy County Manager Reyes, who was there, Acting County Manager Coates, County Social Service and Community Corrections leadership and staff were all there to look at this process through really a holistic process and how we come together, right, and move from the silos to do this work in a collective manner. And so we looked at youth residents' needs, providers' responsibilities, along with county responsibilities. And we came to the conclusion that these visits and feedback shared following, we identify a high level of shared understanding and alignment with our ongoing community and county stakeholders' engagement for this project and key areas of shared visions. And so as we talk about expanding the date that we just amended here, that the legislation that moved to say that we head into 2025 was really, an aggressive timeline, and we need more time because we want to get this right. We want to see kids as kids and move this work forward so they can re-enter society with some additional skills, recognizing that mental health, substance use disorder, homelessness, and dysfunction is all a part of what we see happening there. Let's see. And so I just want to share, I have a newsletter that's coming out, that came out yesterday. And, usually I talk a little bit about the things that I've done in the community, going to expand more on the work that's happening in Ramsey County, but also hold in my newsletter that we've been doing over the last few months, Community Heroes. So I want to just share that my 2 community heroes that we are highlighting this month in my newsletter is Chair Martinson. Oh. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. You are one of my community heroes in the work that you've done here, right, and your leadership that you have done here as you transition into, into your next journey in life. But I wanted to recognize you in your work and your leadership. And my second community hero would be Commissioner McGuire and the work that you have done, right? Leading NACO, leading AMC, leading here as a county commissioner and all that entails. And just want to say officially thank you both for your work and for your leadership. And Ramsey County, we should be so proud of your work and the work that you do and done and we will continue to do. And with that, I end.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Moran. Thank you very much. Commissioner Zhang.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And first, I just want to start off with, thanking Commissioner Moran for leading such a powerful conversation and dialogue with the U of M Extension and their dean of like even their Gardener's program. And I would say, like, I left that meeting feeling quite disappointed, right? Like, it's disappointing because Commissioner Moran had to share about how it is like to be uncomfortable every day. Like, that amount of uncomfortableness is very traumatic, and it builds on. And so I had to share with them that this charge is not just Commissioner Moran's charge, that it's really all of our work as Americans to talk about our racist past and how it was built on the backs of slaves and exploited people and Native Americans. And we are just saving a program or not wanting to change the name just because their current membership is going to be uncomfortable with that. So I would say I'm super disappointed and have shared with them that we should reconsider partnerships if that's the case, if we can't move. So I know that they heard that message clearly, and I will be fighting this with Commissioner Moran to make sure that it gets changed. Ramsey County was able to do it, so can the U of M.
Right.
They need to do better.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Finally, I will just add that with a lot of the transitions, I just want to share with folks that I'm slowly moving into other leaderships with other boards, right?
Yes, you are.
So with Metro Emergency Board, I will be moving to chairing the board there. Metro Mosquito Control, moving to vice chair this year and the next year to chair it. I took a tour of the facility that they have in Maplewood, and they invited Representative Hansen to join us there too, and gave Representative Hansen the tour. And it was just really eye-opening. It was great. Commissioner Moran attended with me too, and also Commissioner Fretham's office, to just see the operations, but also the amount of stuff, basically, to manage mosquito. And I think it just gave me greater insight into us working as a metro to better coordinate services as well as equipment, right? It's just a lot of things, and move them forward to long-term planning. So I was very clear about that and got that out from it. In addition, CAPRW, Community Action Partnership of Ramsey, Washington, I'm on the executive committee, so I've been a part of a lot of their conversations around strategic planning. So earlier this year, we revised the mission statement, and I think they have such incredible staff that are leading us into reviewing current programs and about whether it aligned with our mission. And I think that that's just best practices for nonprofits too. So I'm really glad that we have really fantastic staff there to lead that work. Let's see. The other piece that Commissioner Moran had mentioned was just around the visits to the supportive housing treatment homes for youth. So I just want to add on that was really helpful and insightful. And this is what's going to help inform our RFP for the treatment homes. And I just want to thank staff for leading such a great and thorough process where we visited, we debriefed, we took surveys. So I think that was just really helpful in drawing those conclusions that we are very much in alignment with each other about wanting to make sure that we are not coming in from a disciplinary approach, but from carrying holistic and ongoing support and programs for youth. So I'm just very hopeful about the direction and progress we are going. And then I already mentioned this already when Director Lattimore had come up too, but then that is something that my office is paying really close attention to, because not only is it raising a lot of questions in our community, but also coming from our state representatives, our senators, and locally too, about what is the city doing.
Yeah.
And I think that just opens up the broader dialogue. And I'm hopeful and glad that Commissioner Moran will be leading our intergovernmental piece too, right? But that I will be joining her and also pushing that, because our area is has been underserved for a very long time, but we also need a lot more support from both the state and federal partners. And then looking forward to this week, we will be having a conversation hosted by Congresswoman McCollum's office to talk about the U.S. Census data and how they are collecting information. And we will continue to push for them to provide more easily accessible, disaggregated data.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good, great work.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Zhang. Commissioner Moran.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. There is great work being done on this board. It is just amazing. And thank you so much for your work, Commissioner Moran and Fretham and Zhang, on the U of M and Extension Service and the naming. I mean, names matter tremendously. And I'm glad you're pushing, and I know you have the support of this whole board in whatever else we can do to help with that. And we should look at all partnerships that aren't serving us in the way that we need to be served. So thank you so much for your work on that. This board is an amazing board. It is so powerful in the work that we do, in the questions that we ask, and in the things that we push. And so I just want to say thank you. We have just come off the NACO meeting. The reason that I was able to do the work I was because I came from a place of strength because of this board. You all supported the work. You supported the work here on the county while I was able to be doing some of the national work. And I am going to give a longer report later. I know I'm going to be on the agenda to really do a debrief of my year as president, which I so appreciate that I'll get a chance to really reflect on that. But I want to say, while Commissioner Martinson is here, and while we're in the moment of just coming off the conference, you know how grateful I am to all of you, and thank you, Commissioner Reinhardt, for your kind words, and just to all of you, and Commissioner Martinson, you were all just right there, right at the very beginning, to help us do this work, to help us get elected and do the national work and bring Ramsey County to the national stage. And we were very people really appreciated that. They were so grateful to learn more about Ramsey County and all the work that we do. We are definitely rock stars in the county commissioner field, and I like I said, I want to talk more about that when I have a longer period. But just thank you so much, Commissioner Martinson. All these transitions are so bittersweet, you know, because we know you're going on to amazing things, and I know I get to say more later. But thank you for your support and all of your support while I was president of NACO, and I think it really did matter that you were all there. And so people said, how did you end up doing all this? I said, because I have a very supportive board. I didn't have my board making crazy resolutions while I was doing other things like some presidents had. So
we saved them for your return.
You did, yeah. You saved them. Yeah, you saved them till I was here anyway. So thank you all. I really appreciate it, and more to come on that. But I want to just give a few things that of course the work is continuing on here in our county and in my district. And so County Road D did have their open house. It was at Little Canada. It was the County Road D Improvement Project open house. So grateful to Public Works and everyone who helped make that open house happen. The Ramsey County League of Local Governments Collective Action Committee is working. We have several collective action groups in addition to the main group, and one of them is on climate action. We call it the CLAW, the Climate Action Working Group. Right. And so they're just really focusing on climate action and different grants that we might apply for and different things that we can do. So just to let you know, I'll keep you posted on the work of that. But you know, the League of Local Governments is doing really a lot of work, and it includes Ramsey County, all of our cities, our school districts, and nonprofits. And so just thanks and kudos to them. We're also not having a board meeting in July. We're having a social gathering at Smash Park tomorrow night in Roseville at the Smash Park on County Road C from 5 to 6. So if you're interested in meeting with some of your city colleagues, some of your school board colleagues, we'll be at Smash Park tomorrow night. And then also, we had Lauderdale Day in the Park last week. Love, love, love Lauderdale Day in the Park. We had a great, we have a Mayor Mary Gage and the City Council are amazing. The community was out in force, and we just had a great event in Lauderdale. I was also at an event for Live More, Screen Less, and I will talk more about this, but this is a nonprofit that really focuses on less screen time for kids and more time not on their screens. It's a really great curriculum that we're promoting in schools and things, and I'm involved because my nephew's involved, but I am just supportive of this effort of this nonprofit to really get all of us to be less on our screens and more out in the community. Also, Rotary had Dan Stoltz, the CEO of Blaze Credit Union now, which is the combination of Spire and Highway Credit Union. He spoke at our Rotary about the 20 lessons that he wished he knew when he was 20, and it's all great leadership lessons, and it's giving me some good things to think about when I reflect on my year as president. So thanks to Dan Stoltz for all of his work in the community. And then thank you to Dave Triplett of our elections. He met with some constituents and myself about what's coming up on elections, and we know we're having a workshop, but Dave was so gracious with his time in really helping understand how we do run safe and secure elections here in Ramsey County. So much thanks to Dave for all of his good work. And with that, Madam Chair, just thank you, and I'll save my other remarks for the next items on the agenda.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ortega.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to report, after coming back from NACO, I attended the funeral for Ruben Rosario at St. Paul Cathedral. Ruben was a fellow Fordham alumni. He wrote for the Daily News in New York before coming here. And, if you would have known him, he was a different kind of reporter. If you read his stories, you will see that he really tried to talk about, and it comes from his experiences about the families, the people behind the story, behind the incident or the crime, how it impacts both sides of an incident. He was very sensitive to that, and I don't think we've had a report in either paper that has ever really focused. I mean, he must have been here for at least 15 years writing, and all his stories have the same thread, and that is we're talking about human beings. We're talking about how they suffer on either side of an incident. So I just want to highlight him because I think he was somebody special, not just because he was a fellow New Yorker, but because he really talked about everybody, about all communities and how they were impacted.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner Ortega. It was a huge loss, for sure. Commissioner Petham.
Thanks. Well, I just want to give a big shout out to all of our staff who have been working on the computer issue, folks who were pulled out of their other jobs to go stand in a really hot room at the Public Works building. And it's folks who don't do this. So Greg Moss, a lowly map maker, who helped navigate multiple issues, removing the blue screen of death. Fahim, and I think I'm getting your name right, you're the only ones whose name I didn't have written down somewhere to reference, who called me twice to try to get me out of safe mode, which I was stuck in. No, he noted that most folks hadn't even stopped for a lunch break. but that he did eat lunch, which is good. You should eat lunch, everyone. It's not that important. Some of the stuff's really important. My stuff was not that important. You should have lunch. And then Rick Broughton, who is amazing, who declared himself amazing, but I must concur for eventually getting me out of safe mode. Debbie Orth for her admin support while I had no computer. Nancy for her emotional support yesterday and always. Also want to shout out Mayumi. Others have mentioned she's been helping me out as I transition off of the board at the end of the year and sort of make my way, who's been just jumping in to meetings and representing my office with such a great job. A long-time District 1 resident, so knows her way around. And then also want to thank Deanna Pesic for the starting the compliance monthly check-ins, which I really enjoy. This work is so important. It's so boring and so important. And I feel like my theme on the board has been the champion of boring but important work. So Deanna's after my own heart. Thank you for that and for sticking with it and for really pushing this to the forefront.
Awesome. Yes, Commissioner Reinhardt.
I do want to correct you on one thing, however, Commissioner Fretham, and that is a lowly map maker. Next to garbage, making maps is probably the most exciting thing.
I am using his own words.
Okay.
So cute.
Those are very kind things to say about you, Commissioner.
Oh.
And Commissioner Phasm, can I just say your assistant who has been showing up is awesome.
Yeah. I agree.
Yes. Good questions, good insight. Really appreciate her.
Awesome. I'll just quickly share, I don't know, my mind is gone now. Lots of great things. NACO was amazing. I just want to highlight that too. I won't be here for your report in this capacity, but really an awesome conference and great work. I'll just leave it there. Excellent. All right. I think next, we got one more thing. Commissioner Reinhardt, the floor is yours.
Well, you're going to come up.
Yes. All right. I'm doing math to stop tears, and I'll ask my family.
It says right on there, do not adjust the microphone, and I just did. Sorry. Okay, the Kleenex is in the pocket if anybody needs one. This is, okay, I'm going to make sure everybody gets up here. This is an exciting moment, and it is bittersweet for many different reasons, but I have to tell you that the service that you have done as chair through the last 3 years has been nothing short of amazing. We've had some major issues that have come before us, and you've always been on top of it, and I know you work with a lot of really good staff here, obviously, because I've been chair before, and I know how important they are in all this, but the leadership is what really makes it happen, and so I just want to say thank you for that. Mostly, I have to tell you, this is really personal for me, because you are like a daughter to me. She calls me her mom, her work mom, I think, or whatever it is. I'll let her handle that part. But I remember when she first, I met her, obviously, when she was a commissioner's aide. And so got to know her then, and just had a lot of fun and a lot of really interesting conversations. When she became a commissioner, and I supported her in that, when she became a commissioner, I said to her, I've got to talk to you about garbage. I said, I'm going to tell you, you've got to get really involved in it. You are going to love it. I swear you are going to love it. And she looked at me with dubious eyes, just putting it mildly. I didn't think she didn't understand just how exciting it truly is. And I know I talk about that, and I know it sounds silly to a lot of people, but it's about what you can do to impact not only your generation, but generations to come, because the choices that you make, the things that you recycle or throw into the garbage that can be recycled, the things that you purchase. We've got a lot that's going on in Minnesota. We've always been a leader in this, but Commissioner Martinson really stepped up and just, she did fall in love with it. Because of the change that you can make as individuals. I've gotten to know your family. They've gotten to know my cupcakes. So I love making cake. By the way, there are cupcakes. Soren, where'd you go? Oh, wow. There you are. I had to keep him here so they didn't go down. And if Sophia is still in the room, she came up in the elevator and went, whoa. Okay, she should come and get some cupcakes for her as well. Anyway, with that, I'm going to read this proclamation. Whereas Trista Martinson has served on the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners representing District 3 since January 2019 and as board chair since January 2022. And whereas Trista's service on the Ramsey County Board followed 16 years in our nation's military in 3 branches: the Air Force, the Marines. Are you going to make that noise?
Wrong. Navy. I was never in the Air Force.
You know?
I was a Girl Scout.
Okay, we will get a new. You know, it was funny because there was something else. The title of your new job. Yes. I caught that. Yeah. But I didn't even. Okay, Navy. Let's try this again. In 3 military branches: the Navy, the Marines, and aren't you going to make that noise?
Hoorah.
Yeah, okay. And the Army, I couldn't do it, and I'm not allowed to do it, and the Army National Guard. And whereas, while with Ramsey County, Trista has been a crucial advocate for investments in affordable housing to end homelessness, multimodal transportation, street safety projects, sustainable waste management practices, and so many other issues. And whereas Trista has contributed thousands of hours to Ramsey County, representing the Ramsey County Board with outside organizations and as a sought-after public speaker. And whereas the residents of the North End, Como, Payne-Phelan, Frogtown, Hamlin Midway, St. Anthony Park, and Falcon Heights have trusted Trista, that's hard to say, to represent them and to build a better Ramsey County. I'll practice the trusted Trista, okay? And whereas Trista has accepted a new position as the first executive director of the Ramsey Washington Recycling and Energy Center, that has to be added as well. I didn't check that it wasn't in there. So we're going to be making lots of changes to this. Anyhow, and has submitted her resignation effective end of business day on August 1st, 2024. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners declares July 23rd, 2024 as Trista Martinson Day in Ramsey County. And be it further proclaimed, the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners wishes Trista success and happiness in all her future endeavors. I'm not going to give you this proclamation except for pictures, but we're going to take it away and we're going to fix what we need to fix in it. And I also want to say, I know your entire family has been so supportive. Chris, your fiance, who couldn't be here today.
He's packing up to move to St. Paul.
Yes. And everyone is so proud of everything that you have done, everything that you have overcome. Because that's what it takes when you are, people talk about things in their past and really no matter what the issues, everybody has trials and tribulations in their life. I've often said that. But it's what you do with them. That's right. It's the strength that you gather from them. It's not about what happened or what you did. It's about what you are going to do going forward. And what I have seen in Trista, and I know everyone else has seen in her as well, is like, okay, I've learned, I'm going to be stronger, I'm going to lead with more energy than before. And so that's what is to be honored and to be celebrated, was what you have done here in your own life, in your family's lives, and for all of the residents of Ramsey County. I know we each represent districts, but the fact of the matter is we really represent all of Ramsey County, and that's why we do so well, I think, as a board, is because we think about everybody in Ramsey County. And when you talk about prosperity, opportunity, well-being, and accountability, through the lens of equity for all. We mean it, and every single one of us lives that every day. So there are a couple of things that I'm going to give you, and we'll just have the, the fake proclamation in the pictures. But this is the the statue of honor, the memorial. Now I've forgotten the name of it. I'm so
Statue of Vision of Peace.
Vision of Peace. Yes, and it is something that is really treasured. This is something that is the highest honor as far as giving something to you. We've got flowers too. These are yours. And I know there are more flowers. So there's flowers everywhere. But giving you this is my greatest honor.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'm really glad there's not as many people in the room because you all know I'm a crier. And if you were here the day I got sworn in, you know I'm an ugly crier. I snorted really loud in the microphone trying not to cry, and I keep thinking of as long as no one ever does that again, we're okay. Because this job means so much to me, and the commitment and the oath we take to deliver services to our residents is in my heart, and that's the reason I cry, because everything I do is driven with love and loyalty and respect for people around me. And I really mean that. So I'm not crying out of weakness. I'm crying because I'm bursting with energy, and it has to get out some way. And I am looking around the room, and I have my family, Soren, Katie, Amy, and the aides, who, by the way, are so important in Ramsey County, who have been here in the fight in moments of boredom, Commissioner Fretham so eloquently said, in moments of just this is minutia, to the moments of sheer terror of we have to respond in a moment's notice. This is who's doing it and making sure that we can do it. And so thank you for being here. And look what you can become. So any one of you could be here one day. I started right where you are.
I did too.
And so did Commissioner Reinhardt. Because this really is a labor of love. I'm excited for the next chapter, and obviously Commissioner Reinhardt bit me with the garbage bug, and I'm sticking with it. It's kind of like Catwoman gets scratched by a cat. I don't know what I'm going to come, but there might be a costume in my future. But I think about the work that we do, and I am so excited to be able to hyper-focus on one issue that is critically important for Ramsey County, for Washington County, for our state, on the environment, on clean energy, and our opportunity to take from waste and organics recycling to my personal goal of hydrogen in the future. And this really is an opportunity for us to think about how we generate revenue from garbage. So just imagine my vision. One day I'll be buying your trash instead of you paying me for it. So that's where I'm headed, if you're wondering. Because we really have to think about how that then contributes to the bigger resources of Ramsey County, thinking about how the burden of cost on our residents is disproportionate to their incomes. And if we can use an opportunity like waste, which has an endless supply, and produce revenue, it's gonna make all of your jobs in every department easier. And that's where I'm headed, and I'm really excited. And I'm really excited that I'll be here on this side of the podium presenting to you all, because I know that you have the same values and the vision for our community. The other thing that is really important, and I want to say this really loud, we've got a ton of transitions happening in Ramsey County right now, and it's got some people feeling nervous. And I am excited about these transitions, and I'm not just saying that. This is opportunity. As we saw earlier today, Sophia Thompson was able to be promoted. We have County Manager Berg, who stepped into this role and then allowed her team to all step up and spread their wings and opportunity to grow in their leadership opportunities. We've got Gloria Reyes, who has stepped into safety and justice. That is just amazing, the work that she's doing, because Scott was able to retire. Sometimes we have to step out of the way to allow other people to grow, right? We've got Susan, who is now our first CFO of color in Minnesota because Alex Kutza was able to step up as a deputy county manager. Imagine what we're doing, and we continue to live our values in Ramsey County with this change. And I know with our 2 retirements and me transitioning, there's going to be 3 great commissioners seated around this table next year that are going to bring us to even more places, that are going to continue to live the values of Ramsey County and bring new energy and insights into a community. We continue to be the most diverse county in not only the state of Minnesota, but in the entire region, and that is a point of pride. And I am really proud to be able to say I was a part of this team. I was a part of this team as we went through a global pandemic. We went through the civil unrest of George Floyd. And as our community continues to recover and have the greatest needs that they've ever had with housing and food insecurity and the environment and impacts on public health, and yet we are here working together and strive. So this is a great opportunity. Don't be nervous about change. Don't be nervous about change because we have got great leaders. We have a huge depth and breadth in our wings of people who have just waited for their chance. And so for me, this is the opportunity to open a door to the next person who's going to lead this county to greatness and to continue to be part of the team because I'm not really going that far by switching to the other side and be a staff person because I still believe in the vision and values of Ramsey County. So thank you. It has been an enormous privilege and pleasure to be a part of this team and to be able to lead and to be able to say I was a part of Ramsey County, and I will carry this forever with me because it will remind me of our values, of our friendships, and the work that we have to do as we move forward. Thank you all very much. Thank you especially to my assistant, Ethan Austin, and my admin, Kim Burbeck, who have done it all and kept me sane and caffeinated and in all the right places and all of the things. So thank you very much. And a special thank you to my best friend, Amy Gooder, who has stuck it out through all the stuff. Thank you. And Katie, my goddaughter, and my son, Soren. The other boys are all doing things, so he was available, so here he is. He's taking one for the whole team. He's a great kid. And he had his 16th birthday yesterday and got his driver's license. Happy birthday, Soren. He passed on his first go on his driver's test, so he can now shuttle his brothers around, and Mom can take a break. So thank you. So thank you all very much. I know we've got work to do, and we have a full schedule, so we're going to get back on track. Thank you. I didn't even ugly cry.
Eva's going to take pictures.
Okay.
And then I know some commissioners want to give remarks.
We have to say something.
Guys, come in closer. You're Katie and Soren.
Photo first and then.
And Amy, you got to. Yeah, because.
Hello, heels help.
Okay. Hold this for me.
That's a pretty big honor.
Where's my jump? John, maybe you should come here.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, in front of me. I can be here.
Because I'm
There we
short.
go. This is good. Are we good? Can you get everybody?
Awesome.
Thank you. Okay. You guys stay here. We still have to.
Okay.
Say.
Okay.
Okay, you want me to stay with you? Okay.
Okay.
There's no one here to run the meeting.
We'll go in a circle.
Madam, okay, great.
Okay.
I'll start.
Yeah, you go.
Trista, I would not be here if it weren't for you. 100%. When the opportunity to run for this office happened, it happened very fast.
Yes.
And it was you who made me feel like I could do it and gave me the plan. And 100% I wouldn't be here without you, so thank you. And I think that speaks to the strengths of your leadership about boosting other people, supporting them, giving them opportunities. It's the best type of leader to be, and I so admire that, and I've appreciated that so much about you, and especially over the last 2.5 years, doing the hard stuff. This role, we all care a lot about a lot of things, and yet we also have obligations and responsibilities, and you balance that so well. You showed us that today, when it's really hard conversations. And sometimes you've got a lot of bad answers, but you've got to do what you've got to do, and you've done that. And I really, really appreciate it. I've loved the opportunities we've had to spend together, whether Montgomery or Hyeongshiping or Leeds. And I really hope that you are starting a podcast called Trash Talk with Trista.
I am. I will now.
Yes, thank you. I'd love to be on it to talk about trash with you. And I look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And that is just talent, recognizing talent, Commissioner Fretham. You are amazing.
Bring the other microphone up.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay, well.
I've already had mine.
Okay. Oh, Trista, I remember way back when you decided to run, and just watching you as you campaign for this with all of your being, right? And with your vision and your insight and your leadership. And to watch you go from there to being sworn in to leading to chair has been amazing. Thank you. It's been amazing not just for your district, but it has been amazing for Ramsey County. And I just want to thank you so much for being insightful, innovative. You take risk, you know, and you lead. And just want to say thank you so much. We're going to miss you here. But again, you're not gone too far. You know, I look forward to your trash talk too, as I has learned from the biggest trash talker over here next to me.
The queen of trash talk.
But just look forward to another type of partnership that we will have with you. And so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Chair Martinson, thank you so much for leading the board to where it is today. Thank you. It is because of your leadership that we like working with each other and that we have a great working culture here. Yes, and it is because of your leadership. And I said it before, but it's like, you know, I come into here new, and you've already given me so many different opportunities to step up in my own leadership. And you are always making space for folks. You're always thinking about people. Like, I don't know what's stored in your brain, but seriously, you can think of so many people and plug people in. And I think those are just remarkable skills. And I know that you going to R&E is very fitting, because you will be able to move it past, you know, just more of the where have we been kind of like stuck at, but also like accelerate it and move it up more to provide an even greater and bigger vision and have more dedicated time and staff to lead that work. And so I'm excited to be on the Finance Committee. Thank you for allowing me, and Commissioner Reinhardt for creating space for me there too, because it is really important work. And I just think that, you know, our future in this way is trash, but it's so important to make sure that we have a climate that our future generations can be able to even live on planet Earth. Yes. Yeah, so thank you for that. I will say that I will miss you here. You always pick up my calls, no matter what. And I just really appreciate that about you. And I will pick up your calls still. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I get emotional at really big events, like introducing the president, like thanking the National Conference of Legislators of Counties, thanking them for their support and now thanking you for your friendship and for all of your support. People have said it around this. We are the best board in the country, hands down, because of your leadership and all of us and the working culture. You're all saying it so well. You help us be the best version of ourselves. You support us. We come to you with things, and you say, "Okay, we'll make that happen," and you just make it happen. And knowing that that's going to support us, we're able to come to you with all of our great ideas and all of our work that we want to do, and you help us make it happen. And you supported all of us in our leadership. You've especially supported me. I couldn't be more grateful that when I said I want to run for this national position, you said, "You go for it, and what can I do?" And you stepped in and ran that race so amazingly well. I usually am wearing the bracelets that you got, and I can't believe I don't have it on now. But Trista, you have just been such a great friend also. You are a transformative leader. You're a loyal friend. You just do the amazing things that just make everyone feel included. Like, I love that you help have everyone introduce themselves when they're doing proclamations, things like that. You just make things happen. And I'm super grateful that you're going to be doing this with recycling and energy. We're going to miss you so much here, and we will carry on this great work. I know we've got good people coming into place, but just thank you for giving us such a great base to work from, and showing us the way that it can be done. You're amazing. Love you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I want to echo what everybody said, but I'm going to be a little selfish too.
Okay, good.
And when Trista first got elected, I remember she came in my office. Of course, we known each other because she was an aide. First thing I said is, prepare yourself to be the next chair.
Yes, you did.
And I got to tell you that the confidence I had in you these last 3 years was like a mini vacation for me. I just didn't need to worry about a lot of things. Let Trista handle that. But the other part is, you are so much fun. I have fun with you.
Yes, we do have fun.
I really appreciate that. I'm going to miss that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm going to miss is all the fun. Good luck.
Thank you.
I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Love you.
I just want to say thank you, truly. And I hope that folks listening really understand, not many boards actually like each other. And we really like each other. Like, we have fun together. We like each other. We respect each other. We have different views. We have different ways of coming to this space, but we respect each other. And it's really important. And I know that energy and that will continue moving forward, because you all are still here to carry it on. So we're kind of phasing people in. So we'll teach the new guys the same kind of attitude, right? Of like, we're here to get work done together. It's important. I want to say this to you all. It is really important to staff. They're watching, they're in this room, they're nodding. It matters how we behave. We have an enormous amount of power as commissioners, even though some days we don't feel like we have any power. But just by the nature of our title and our position, the smallest thing that we say has huge ripple effects on how our staff perceives our work, how they feel valued or not valued. And so our job as leaders is to catch them doing something right and lift it up. And if there's something that isn't going well, to speak discreetly and make those changes where we need to, because it is important. This is the body. These 4,000 plus employees matter so much. And I am been so grateful to be able to be a part of it, so much so that I'm going to switch to the other side of the table to be a part of it, because it matters that much, and our staff matters. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's here, who's listening, who will listen in the future, and a special thank you to Joanna Berg. Joanna, you are a quiet, humble leader in the background, and you, in my mind, are a mix of Margaret Thatcher and General Schwarzkopf combined into one. in the most amazing way. You are steadfast as a leader, and I will tell you, I'm not the only one to say this. Your people who have had the opportunity to work alongside you and next to you are incredibly loyal and dedicated because of the type of leadership you display. And so I want to say publicly thank you for these last months, for just stepping in and saying yes. And we've gone through some stuff and there'll be transition, but you are a leader that will bring this organization through for the next few years before you retire. You can't go anywhere yet. But really thank you, and thank you for being the kind of leader that lift up other leaders and breathe life into other people. So I want to say thank you for that, really, truly.
I'm going to do a second round, and I just want to check off the boxes that you campaigned on when we spoke. You said you wanted to do affordable housing, check.
Yes, that's right.
You wanted our climate action plan. Now it's climate equitable action plan, check. And homelessness, check. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before you, we have a couple people who would just like to say a couple of additional comments here. Deputy County Manager. Yeah.
Commissioner Chong, thank you for saying that. Thank you for the opportunity. But for Commissioner Martinson, the ECI plan wouldn't really be where it's at. But for Commissioner Martinson, the HRA levy wouldn't be intact. We could continue this all day. But thank you so much for your support to staff. I want to double down on that. The board level support is employee retention. I've worked at a lot of places, Ling's worked at a lot of places, we all have. You don't see that everywhere. To be on the same team with an elected body and you spearheading that with that message is so critical to the health of this organization. So thank you for not just being employee retention, but employee attraction. And thank you just for personally for your support. For those that don't know, Commissioner Martinson has a Soren. I have a Soren. She has a Kaylin. Yeah. I have a Kellen. We learned that after I was hired, and we're like, whoa. But it's just been wonderful, and I can't articulate it enough. So.
Yeah, Commissioner, I just want to tell you, I've appreciated your innovation, your stamina to push staff to think big and to give us a lot of room to be who we can be in terms of the work as we lead our departments and work. And certainly, I think the leadership of the board that Carrie was referencing really came into play with the pandemic. I mean, it allowed us to really lean into our strategic priorities and the work we had to do. I remember getting that call from Joanna Ryan about the CARES Act money, and it was just so great to be so foundationally rooted in like the vision, mission, and goals of this county, so we could, just like not literally just try to figure out which direction to go like a lot of other people, but we were able to just literally sprint. And so I just really want to thank you for your leadership. Just so everyone knows, she's still working really hard. We were just making a bunch of connections this week still, or late last week. So that's the last thing I want to say is, like, I think as your colleague said it too, as you're out in the community, really trying to find the people that we haven't talked to, the people we haven't met, and to ensure that we're making those new connections. It's really important. So thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not how we start the race, it's how we finish. And so we'll go all the way to the end. With that, we've got work to do. We have an HRA rail authority, so I'm going to leave this here for a minute.
Why don't I just do it from here?
Yeah. Let me just adjourn this.
Let me just